Heaven? Is it another dimension, a paradise? Does it really even exist? We're all going to pass from this earth, and knowing what comes next can end the fear of death and bring you peace. Our goal here at Hello Heaven is to answer these questions and many more concerning the afterlife. Welcome to our podcast, Hello Heaven. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hello Heaven. I'm Barry Strohm, your host. I use my ability to speak with spirits to bring you information about the afterlife, and tonight we're going to bring you a lot of information about heaven.
It's the perfect show for our title. I'm Connie Strohm, your co-host. We believe that our shows are unique in that we bring you information about the afterlife and heaven by speaking with the spirits. In addition to Hello Heaven, we bring you a weekly message from Jesus on Wednesdays, a Sunday sermon and channeling history podcast on Sundays. The archives of all of our shows are on our YouTube channel, and the audios of our broadcasts can be downloaded at helloheaven.podbean.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Alexa, and many other platforms.
Now, tonight, we're going to attempt to find out as many details as possible about the dimension that we refer to as heaven. Many people even doubt the existence of heaven and the afterlife. So we're going to bring you as much information about it as possible. Now, of course, there is some information that you must die to find out, but I'm confident we can all learn quite a bit of information. So we're going to start by channeling our guide, Laura, and asking her some very, very detailed questions. So, Connie, let's begin.
Yes. Laura, how would you define heaven?
Heaven can be very, very difficult to define. It's a dimension. It's what's all around you. It's the reality of where your soul goes into the afterlife. Heaven is really the home of all the soul energies. When you're in an incarnate form, you're really not in the true home of where your soul resides most of the time. It may be hundreds of years between the soul's decision to make an incarnate life, where your incarnate life might be very short. Heaven in many instances will be what you want it to be. You can have a concept of heaven, and the powers of it are so strong that there will be areas where it will be exactly what you would like it to be. For instance, your soul may want to go fishing one day, so there will be a place that you can go fishing. It's really, really difficult to explain just simply how you define heaven. It can, in most instances, it can be just simply what you want it to be. Okay.
Does each planet have a unique heaven, or is it just one huge dimension throughout the galaxy?
Yes, it can be both. Some planets have unique heavens, but there is one immense dimension that goes throughout the galaxy. That is why your soul can travel to other planets and why you can life on other planets. It's why you can visit them while you are in the dimension of heaven. But there are unique dimensions on certain planets. So it's not a universal answer. Some planets have got this unique dimension or multiple dimensions, while some of them don't. So some planets are very unique in the ways that they handle heaven, and some of them are, shall we say, a more intergalactic way of handling it.
With a specific reference to the planet Earth, is heaven a single or multiple dimension place?
There are multiple dimensions to heaven for the planet Earth. Heaven has 7 realms and a lower realm where the truly evil people are put. So you could really think about each realm as being a separate dimension. But there is a unity to all of those dimensions or realms. So to answer your question, I would say that heaven on this planet has multiple dimensions.
Is each realm in heaven a different dimension?
Somewhat. Some of the realms overlap because as you get into the upper realms of heaven, they become more similar. So there are times that the dimensions have some overlap to them. And when you get to heaven, they're not clearly defined dimensions. A person in an upper realm can visit the lower dimensions or the lower realms. So it all depends where you are. The more questions that you ask, the more you're going to realize just how complex the dimensions of heaven really are.
Are there subdimensions in each realm? Like, for instance, can you be in the upper or lower part of each realm?
That will vary as well by the realms that you're in. When you're in the upper realm, there are really no subdimensions up there because access has been gained by multiple services of God. So once you become a member of the seventh realm, it's really a continuous dimension. But the realms below it are more difficult to advance through. And once you're in the seventh realm, it takes quite a few lifetimes to gain access to other types of dimensions, as we are referring to them as in heaven. But let's say that you're in the fourth realm. Well, you can be in the lower fourth or the upper fourth. You can be in the lower fifth or the upper fifth because it takes so many lifetimes to advance through those realms. But there is not a clearly defined dimensional limit. Once you're in the fourth realm, you can venture into the upper fourth, but you can't go to the fifth. If you're in the upper fourth, you can go to anything below you, but you can't go into the fifth or any of the upper realms above that. I know it sounds very complicated, and believe me, it is.
Oh. Will you describe the lowest realm that's reserved for the most evil?
Yes, that is the lowest realm. It is a dimension of nothingness. It's a place where the truly evil people are put so that they can contemplate what they've done in their lives. They must understand that there is great negative karma that they must decide how they're going to pay back to come out of that lowest realm. And it is a place where they can remain for as long as they wish to be there. But try to think about the darkest room that you've ever been in. That is what that lowest realm is. Many souls finally make up their mind that they want to come out of it. And to do that, they have to convince God that they are never going to do the bad things that they did again. And then when they come out, their life plans will have to pay back all the negative karmas that they created to get themselves into that realm in the first place. So it's really very simple to describe it. It's a place of nothing. And when your soul is in there, you have to be by yourself. You cannot converse with other people or other souls that are in that dimension. And you must make up your own mind that you want to pay back all the negative karmas that you created. Now, that is a huge decision because to get into that realm, you have created so many negative karmas. The bottom level is really very difficult to get into, and it's reserved for the worst of the worst. And when you're the worst of the worst, you've created an incredible amount of negative karma that has to be paid back. So the decision that you will make to come out is an immense decision because it's going to affect perhaps thousands of your future lifetimes. So you may think that it would be better just simply to remain there, but there's nothing. You're in complete darkness. You can't talk to others. You can ask to speak to an angel, and an angel will come down and talk to you, but they'll say, "Are you ready to make the decision?" And when you say, "Yes, you are," then they will go to God and see if he's convinced that you really have made up your mind. The one thing we don't want is to allow a person to come out of that lowest level and then repeat all of the evil that they've done and hurt so many people in another lifetime. So God will have to be truly convinced before you're allowed to come out and start your process of reincarnations to pay back the negative karmas.
Will you describe the realms of heaven for us? The differences?
There are vast differences in the realms of heaven. Once you're in the seventh level, you have incredible freedoms to do many, many different things. You can think where you want to be, and your soul will be there. You can visit any of the souls in realms below you. You can decide what you want your life to be. You can decide if you want to travel, if you want to stay there. And you have the right to decide whether you want to come back and live another lifetime to serve God. When you're in the sixth level, you have the abilities to travel below you. You have the ability to see what takes place in the upper level, but you do not have the ability to transform yourself to that level, if that makes sense. When you're in the sixth level, you serve God. You've done many things through many lifetimes, and you will have the ability to serve him and to live. You know that when you make up a life plan and you're in that level, that you are trying to obtain access to the highest level. To do that, you must serve him very effectively. If you do that, then he is the one, not the guides. God is the one that decides when you are ready to truly ascend to his level. The fifth level is where many, many souls reside. They have done a lot of good things, but they've done some bad things. And they have negative karmas that they have to work off, which will have to be done through multiple lifetimes. Once you get below the fifth, into the fourth and below, what you can do becomes relatively limited. You can always visit a realm that is below you. But if your soul family is in the sixth level, they must come down to visit with you. You do not have the opportunity to ever go into those upper levels. You can see and understand what takes place in levels above you, and you will make the decision whether it is worthwhile for you to learn the lessons of reincarnate lives in order to move ahead. But as you get into the lower and lower levels, you are associating with souls that have not been able to have advanced. And those souls are not as pleasant to be around. Now, there is no hatred or evil in heaven, so the souls will be at their best. But perhaps you want the ability to visit you with your family, which is above you. Then you have to reincarnate and go through the process that you need to do to advance.
How are the realms of heaven separated?
There's a dimensional separation. You realize when you're approaching the upper levels of a realm, you know that you cannot go into that realm. And if you do, there may be penalties involved. It is a little bit like how the realms on earth are defined. You don't really know that that division is there, but you cannot see into it. Animals can see into another dimension that you cannot see into. So it is really difficult to tell you how those realm limits are defined. It's much like on Earth. You know that the dimension is there, but you cannot enter it or see into it. So I think I'm going to just leave it at that.
So, how are souls kept in their assigned realms?
Souls are very happy when they make it to the next higher realm. They know that they now have access to all of the realms below them, but they still do not have access to realms that are above them. They are told that they should not attempt to go to any level that is above them. So it is a conscious decision that they must make not to attempt it. If they do try to venture to that upper level, the guides will tell them and warn them that they may not be here and that they need to return. And if you try to obtain levels to which you are not entitled, you will create additional negative karmas. And as always, negative karmas have to be paid back in reincarnated lifetimes.
What are the capabilities of being in the seventh realm?
There are many. Once you obtain that, you are the closest to God. So you can visit all of the lower realms. You can travel freely among other planets, among other realms. You have access to all of the souls in heaven when you're in the seventh realm. So there's no soul that you cannot go and visit with if you wish to do it. You can travel freely between all of the dimensions of heaven. You have access to all of the advantages that come with that type of travel. So the seventh realm is truly where you want to be, but it can only be obtained by serving God many, many lifetimes. It is very, very difficult, and God must agree that your service has reached a point that you deserve to be with Him. The guides cannot move you into the seventh level. It is an act of God. The guides can come to decisions to move you from, say, the fifth to the sixth, but to come from the sixth to the seventh level takes an act of God.
If an individual's in the seventh or the highest realm, why would a soul in that level want to return if it cannot go any higher in the heaven?
Once a soul has obtained the seventh, it is very proud of its service to God. God has made the decision to allow it to go there. So you are, shall we say, of a different makeup when you are chosen to go into that level. You want to serve God and you want to be closest to Him. So you will do what He asks you to do. Now, you may want to come back and do things that your soul wants to do. For instance, an individual may have served military lives, and there might be conflicts that it wants to participate in. And it will do that. And in that life, it will also continue service to God and trying to help others. So you always want to do what God asks you to do. If He wants you to come back and help bring others information, then you will be happy to do that. Individuals that are in the seventh level, their soul energies have acquired this desire to be close to God. And because of that, they will basically do anything they can do to help Him.
Yeah. How would the sixth realm differ from the seventh realm?
Well, as I said earlier, the sixth realm is not as close to God. When you're in the sixth realm, you know that you still must have service in order to do what God wants you to do to obtain the seventh. So there are vast differences. When you're in the sixth realm, you are very comfortable in heaven. You have access to your family members, but you don't truly have access to God. Johnny?
We're told that when you enter heaven, it's what you expect it to be. Is it always what you expect, or does it change the longer you're there?
The one thing about heaven is that it's always changing. When you are a human, you truly do not know what to expect of heaven. You may hear from people that have had near-death experiences, and they may tell you that they saw a tunnel. So you may expect to go to heaven through a tunnel. They may tell you that they were immediately in this great place. And that may be what you expect. So that might be what you will see when you first die. You see, we want you to be as comfortable and to have the transition from life to death to work as easily as possible. So there are many variations. If you're an atheist, you expect nothing. And in all probabilities, when you die, you will experience nothing at first. We want to be able to lead you into heaven at some point, but you may have to learn the lesson that expecting nothing will bring you nothing.
Once your soul's in heaven, can you advance by not reincarnating?
No. You can do better in your realm. You may be able to gain access from the middle to the upper part by serving him, but you cannot change levels without reincarnating. You see, he's provided many different planets that give you many different types of lives. So there are so many lessons that you need to be learned, and are lessons that can only be learned by reincarnating on those multiple planets. So you cannot change, say, from the sixth to the seventh without reincarnating and doing many things to serve God in those lifetimes.
How are souls selected to be guides?
Generally, those are souls that have served God, are in upper levels. For instance, I'm a member of the seventh level, and I choose to serve God by acting as a spirit guide. And that is why you're hearing my voice giving you messages today on your radio show. Souls can serve individuals on different levels. A soul may be in the upper sixth level and does not want to reincarnate, but wants to serve God. It understands that it cannot advance to the next level, but it can gain much positive karma by serving as a guide when it decides to go back and live an incarnate life that will allow it to move up to the next level. Guides are souls that have chosen to serve God and have chosen to serve other souls. We have access to information once you make those decisions, and you will find that guides on all the different levels are generally in the upper part of that realm and are trying to serve God in order to advance. They know at some point they will have to come back, but they want to serve and gain positive karmas for when they return.
Do angels interact in all the realms of heaven?
Yes. Angels have access to all of the realms and can go anywhere that they wish in heaven. The archangels have access to the seventh, and they can call their angel assistants into that level. So angels have access to everything, and they have all knowledge.
Exactly what role do angels play in heaven?
Angels play many roles in heaven. One of the main roles is for them to help bring the soul of the individual that has just passed into the realms. But angels can act as guides. They can be prayed to. They can help with healing. They can help do many things. They can help make sure that you maintain what needs to be maintained so that you can live the details of your life plan. Angels can help arrange that you meet other souls. They may help arrange that you meet your soulmate. The angels can guide you. They may come to you in human form and do a service to you that will help you learn and will help you understand just how important God is in your life. Angels can play almost any role that you can conceive of. When they return, in most instances, you do not see them as looking like an angel. They may be a street person to test whether you will actually help them or not. Angels play multiple roles and very complex roles. It's really hard to describe because there are so many roles that humans have never even heard of.
Can souls in the upper realms expect to live better lives when they reincarnate?
Yes, they are sent back for the advanced service of God. It may be that they're expected to bring messages of God to individuals. It may be that they're expected to lead countries. But they have proven their leadership abilities. They have proven their intellect, and they have proven that they truly want to serve God. So souls in the upper levels are generally put into situations where they are in a better position to serve God. When they make their life plans, they would have, for instance, parents that are known to have led other children and other youth towards God. And they will be given parents that are expected to do the same thing with them. But generally, when you're in the upper realms and you decide to reincarnate, you have served God in many times, and you understand what is needed in a life plan. And those life plans generally lead to better lives.
What level has the highest number of souls, and what can souls experience in that level?
The fourth and fifth level has the most souls in it. Now, understand there's no limit to how many souls can live in any level. But when you're in the fourth or fifth level, you've lived many lifetimes. Some have been good, but you've made mistakes. And you may have had problems advancing from the fourth to the fifth or the fifth to the sixth because of those mistakes. You may have decided that those levels are fine for you. And it's maybe thousands of years since you wanted to reincarnate. And there's only through reincarnation that you can advance. So there are many reasons why there are so many people in the fourth and fifth. Generally, if a person has had problems in its life, it would not be taken below the fourth or fifth level. Once you're in the bottom levels, it's really not a place that you want to be, and people work very hard to get out of those levels. Connie?
Is there any way an incarnate soul can understand the miracles of heaven?
Oh, absolutely not. We can try to bring you information about it, and there are many people that have had near-death experiences tell you about it. But if you noticed, almost every near-death experience is even different because it is tailored to the life plan of that person. The complexities of heaven are far beyond the human mind. The complexities of heaven are truly only understood by God. He made it, and he made it that way. Why do you call him God? Because he has the incredible energies to understand all.
So I assume that when God created the universe, he also created heaven. Were all souls placed in the first level at creation?
No, because there had been a universe before this one. So they had to earn places in the hierarchy of heaven in the lives in that previous universe. So when they created the new universe, they brought those souls forward and they were put into the same positions in heaven, even though heaven was now had a different composition. The souls that had served in the prior universe were given the upper realms of heaven as well.
If you see God in heaven, will it be in the form of Jesus?
Yes, God is an energy, and you will not see his energy. But that energy has the ability to take the form that it had when you walked the earth. Now, God walked all of the planets, and he has had incarnate forms on all of the planets. So if you are coming from one of the other planets and you see God in heaven, then you will see him in the form that he was on that planet. So if you have had a human incarnate life, Jesus only walked the earth one time in one incarnate form, and that was as the form of Jesus. So if you see the energy of God, it will be, and you lived an incarnate life on earth, it will be in the form of Jesus.
Do you experience emotions in heaven?
Yes, you can experience emotions in heaven. For instance, if you committed suicide, you will feel very sad when you watch the grief that you caused. Emotions are part of what you feel in all dimensions, be it in an incarnate form or when you're in heavenly form. You will feel love in all dimensions. You will still love those souls that you left behind, and you will watch them as they grieve for you, and you will feel their grief. As the humans come that you have lived with, then you will not feel the emotions as strongly because there are fewer, as you spend time in heaven, there are fewer souls that are left behind. So when they pass, they will come to you and you will feel great love for them because now you are with them. The emotions that you feel in heaven are also quite complex.
What do you remember of your prior incarnate life?
Once you pass and your soul enters heaven, you have access to the book of life. So it is stored in your soul and in your mind when you're incarnate. So you have access to that book of life. So you can find out all of the information that you need because you need to know that so that you can choose the lessons that you must learn in your next life.
Yeah. Are you reunited with loved ones who are not on the same realm or were atheists?
What will happen is, if they are not going to be coming to the realm in which you are in, you will come to that lower realm as they pass, and you will be with them. You can spend as much time with them as you please because you always have access to visit a realm that is lower. When you leave, you're giving incentive to those souls that are in lower levels lower than what you are to come back and live good lives so that they can join you in those upper realms whenever they want. So you are reunited when they first come over, but it is done because you will come to those lower levels to them to assist them and to help them make up their mind that they must go back and do more incarnate lives so that they can be with you in those upper levels.
Okay. The Gospels refer to many mansions. Can you define this?
The concept to which those Gospels refer is the fact that every soul has a home in heaven. It may be in one of 7 different realms. That is not saying that you need a roof over your head in heaven. If you prefer to have a home, perhaps you may have one, but all souls have a home in heaven, meaning that there is a realm to which they will go, and they will live in that realm, and they will be there without the need for homes that protect people when they are in an incarnate life. Keep in mind that there are no thunderstorms in heaven.
Can you define the perfect heavenly justice?
God is the perfect heavenly justice. He, through his guides, will determine how you are judged. And your judgment in heaven is the true justice. You cannot hide and you cannot lie about what you have accomplished, because the guides know exactly what is taking place, and they will instigate the true perfect heavenly justice for you in your judgment. You cannot cheat in heaven.
Is there darkness in heaven?
No, there's never darkness in heaven. You see darkness on earth because your planet turns and it turns away from the sun. But you are in the eternal light of God in heaven. And you will always be in light and never in darkness. The only darkness is in that lower level that is reserved. Now, you may see darkness if you're an atheist, because that is what you expect when you die. But that darkness will go away and you will see God's light eventually.
Yeah, you may have already done this, but can you compare the experience of an atheist entering heaven with that of the entrance of a believer?
Yes, we can do that. If an atheist believes there is nothing, then there will be a nothingness when they come into heaven. The angels will approach them and let them know that there is truly something, that there is a heaven, and that they should follow the angels into that heaven. But what if an atheist thinks that they will go to hell, to this burning hell? Well, when they first come over, they will witness this burning, a burning hell that doesn't exist. That is part of the complexities. How people anticipate heaven is the greatest way that they will see heaven when they truly get there. The most important thing for everyone to remember is heaven is this magnificent place. And when you die from your incarnate form, you will come into this magnificent place. What you want to do is live as good a life and help as many people as you can through that incarnate life. But how you live your life determines what heaven will be for you. Even if you make mistakes, change your life. Make each day a new beginning for you, and you will build up positive karmas, and they will be reflected in the true perfect justice of heaven. So I want to thank you. I know that our Lord is here, and I know that he has got a message for you. Indeed.
Yes, we are very blessed today, and thank you, Laura.
Yes, Laura, thank you. Your help is always incredible. And we learned today that you are a 7th level guide, and we thank you for it. So we're now going to do another very special channeling of the infinite spirit who created heaven, and obviously is the true expert in what we will experience on our day of passing. So now we're going to channel with the spirit of Jesus, and he will give us a message about heaven. Yes, thank you all for listening today. And I truly want you to understand heaven as best you can. Laura has given an incredible group of answers for you. Pay attention to what she said, because there are many hidden things in her words. If you can truly understand what she just told you, then you will be well on your way to understanding the miracle that you will, when your soul departs your body, experience. I created heaven to be the reward for living incarnate lives. You see, I knew that on all the planets in my galaxy that there would be many different types of civilizations. I knew that there were many, many lessons that a soul should learn. So I created these planets to give you an opportunity to learn through living incarnate lives. I wanted you to have to establish different types of life plans because those life plans would give you understanding into what was expected of you. But when you returned, I wanted heaven to be the most miraculous thing that you could ever conceive of. I wanted heaven to live up to your wildest expectations. I wanted heaven to be what you want it to be. You see, I knew that there had to be differentiations of how souls were treated. I knew that there had to be a place where people that would serve my words and would truly help others, a place in heaven that was unique for them. I wanted to be places for people that lived average lives. I knew everyone was going to make mistakes in their lives, but I wanted a place for everyone. I even wanted a place in my heaven for those people that were so incredibly evil that others could not describe what they did. I wanted it to be a place, an absolute place of nothingness, a place where you would live in the darkness that you created for others. But I wanted that place reserved simply for the worst. I knew that when I gave humans free will, that they would use it to make mistakes. But I wanted humans, and I still want humans, to use that free will to live a life of service, a life of service to others, a time of giving themselves to others. I wanted incarnate lives to be times of learning. You see, when you come over here, heaven is so amazing that you will see the miracles that are possible. I wanted you to have a soul experience in heaven, a soul experience that was so wonderful that you would want to advance in my realms and that you would want to live a life that would allow you to know when you returned that we would greet you and that we would allow you to participate in the greatest of all miracles. And the greatest of all miracles is the heaven that I created. Most of all, I want all of you to understand that your soul has everlasting life, and that everlasting life of the soul will be in my heaven and will be appreciating and living the miracles that I created for you. Those that doubt the existence of heaven will be wasting an incarnate life. When they return, they will, in all probability, if they have not done evil things, go to the same level they were in, and they will have failed to learn the lesson of that lifetime. Individuals that I have blessed with wealth that have not used it to help others will go to the same level, or perhaps even be put into a level lower. But one thing that you can be assured of is that if they do not help the blessings that I give them, they do not use those blessings for others, that they will certainly not advance. And they will create these negative karmas that will be part of their future lives. The soul experience is beyond the comprehension of any human, or simply beyond the comprehension of any civilization that I placed on my planets. I wanted it to be so, and it is so. Heaven is so real. Heaven is something that you should anticipate. And you must truly know that it absolutely exists. So besides what Laura has told you today and what I've just tried to tell you, you should understand the fact that heaven is truly real, the human truly exists, and that on your day of passing, your soul will experience the miracle of heaven. How you live your life depends how many of these miracles you will experience. Your time in heaven can be at your own choice, and your place in heaven is the result of how you live your incarnate lives. So I'm not sure I can tell you much more about it. You will truly experience it. Many of you sooner, many of you later. But on the day that you pass, you will realize the true miracles that I have made in heaven. I bless all of you that listen to my words. I know that many of you are incredibly good people. And when you return, you will be in the upper levels and you will see just many of the miracles that you have no way of knowing exist. So goodbye. And I thank you once again for allowing me to speak. And I want to thank Barry and Connie for trying to bring you this education. They do much. They try very hard to make you understand the true miracles of God. Listen to the words that they bring you. You cannot go wrong with them. So goodbye. I bless all of you that are listening, as I always do. Pray to me and let me know what you want, and I will try to bring your wants to you. So goodbye, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Lord.
Wow. Okay, guys, I can't tell you much more about heaven because I don't remember much of it myself. But I can tell you this. My 11th book, Jesus the Missing Years, A Modern Gospel, is now available on Amazon.com and on my websites, spiritspredict.com and barrystrohm.com. Connie and I channeled 24 souls, such as Mary, Joseph, Toba, the wife of Jesus, the children of Jesus, John the Baptist, his grandmother Anne, brother James. And one really interesting chapter is where we speak with the three wise men. They played such a great role in the life of Jesus. And you'll truly understand why much of the information was never included in the Gospels. And the book makes a great Christmas present.
True. On Hello Heaven, we'd like to encourage listener participation through the use of video calls. Many of our listeners have had supernatural experiences, and we would really like to tell those stories on our show. If you'd like to participate in this program, send an email to onestrohm.com. Tell us about your experience, with whom you'd like to channel, and what you would like to discuss. Barry will get back to you with the time to make the recording. We're currently looking for listeners that have had near-death experiences or some other unexplained happenings. Thank you for listening to our podcast, Hello Heaven. Please tell your friends about our shows. They're all meant to prove the existence of an afterlife and improve your life. And tonight, we gave you as much information about heaven as possible. The one certainty in life is that we all will face a day of passing, and the more you know, the less you'll fear that day. If you'd like to see a video as you listen, please join us on YouTube Live or Facebook Live on Barry's personal page and in our Facebook groups on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. The audio of our shows can be heard on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Alexa, Spotify, iHeart, and all the major platforms. The easiest way to download the audio of the show is just to go to podbean.com and search Hello Heaven.
So thank you for listening to Hello Heaven. We feel that our show is very unique, and we hope you're enjoying it. After all, where else can you hear the Spirit of Jesus tell you about heaven? That's got to be a unique experience for you. Knowledge of the afterlife will ensure that when you find that final day, you will have no fear. So tell your friends about our show. So goodbye, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to Hello Heaven. Please join us Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can hear us on multiple audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Alexa, and other media platforms as well. If you'd like to appear on the show, send an email to onestrohm@gmail.com and tell us your story. Have a great week. Tell your friends about our show. They'll thank you for it. Music is by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com.